All right, we now welcome back returning guest David Lawrence
It's me.
from Orlando, Florida. Man, how we doing?
Doing okay. Today's kind of been a weird day. I'm sure you can. Well, I was thinking, I was like, what do I want to talk with Alex about?
All right, bring
And
bring it,
uh,
man.
what'd you say?
I said bring it.
Um, yeah, I was just thinking, like, I don't know. You're a full-time photographer,
Yep,
and like so am I, and like I'm sure a lot of the people that like listen to this show are.
yep,
But like at this point in my career, I feel like, so I guess to give context, I do portrait photography.
yep.
Alex said like I did one of these conversations with him a couple weeks ago. Yeah, but portraits are my primary focus. But I feel like at this point in my career, I'm getting portrait sessions like maybe 2 weeks before they happen.
Yep.
Um, and nothing is super far out. Sometimes I'm even finding out about stuff
You said 2 weeks. You find out in advance.
like, yeah, it's
That's
been
a
like,
lot of time, bro.
well, that doesn't feel like, maybe
I,
it's not like
I got a job for the
like
Wall
2 weeks
Street.
at the
I did
most.
it. I did a job for the Wall Street Journal last week. I got like a day.
Okay,
They're like, all
fair.
right. They're
Yeah. Well,
like,
I should say 2 weeks at the most. And so I guess I just feel like a lot of when there's downtime, even if it's a couple days,
yep.
or like right now, it's like I had a fairly big like portrait job this past week, and I literally like don't have an inquiry for like anything else coming up, and I'm just like, oh, it's over. I'm fucking done.
That's
Like,
yeah,
and
that's the game, man. That's the ride. And
yeah,
right now is weirder than ever, man. It's like comes and flows. Like I was super busy for the last 3 weeks, and then now the same thing. Now I don't have anything on the books. So this back to attacking marketing and all that jazz, you know?
yeah. No, I've been in the same boat, but it was, yeah, today was just like one of those days where there was like nothing bad, like, but I was just like down in the dumps. So it was just like, what, I was editing photo sessions, which I needed to, but I think it's like you're always just, I don't know, for me I'm just like there's nothing coming up.
Oh yeah,
Like, what am I
you're
doing
riding
with
that.
my life?
Oh, dude, I feel like that this week too, because I went from 3 weeks of being busy. Like I shot a bunch of editorial, shot like this like bank ad campaign, and then now there's not really anything. So I kind of like I understand. It's like that feeling when you're busy and you're like doing something, you feel like you accomplished something at the end of the day, and now it's just like I'm emailing art producers and photo editors, and most of them don't even respond. So it's like, am I? Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, I'm like, did I accomplish anything today?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I definitely feel like that a
yeah.
lot. There's even like some days where I'm just like I have another photographer friend, and you'll appreciate this. He just got Tony Hawk, like the new one, and
Yep.
um like we have spent like several hours like at night now just blasting through the new like two player on the Tony Hawk. But like there's been multiple times where we've been hanging out where I'm just like, I really don't know like how I make a living. Like it's not like that I'm not making money. Like it's
Yep.
just like there seems to be so much like just time of just twiddling my thumbs.
But it all comes in it comes in waves. Like you'll make a bunch
Totally.
bunch of money in a week, and then it's like I try to look at it like, all right, whatever. If I made like 3 grand in a week or something, I try to almost like divide it into like I don't know, like back when I had a normal shitty job, like where I was making them like whatever $15 an hour. End of the week, you make like $500 or something. I almost
Yeah.
kind of divide it like that. So it's like I made 3 grand, so actually that's enough for this many weeks to live or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I've been doing that same thing as well. And
mm,
like it honestly has been like really helpful because like I honestly didn't, it really took the pandemic and actually getting, I got some like PPP money originally, and you had to basically like, which this is normal, but I didn't do it before. It didn't even cross my mind. You had to pay yourself like a set amount every week.
oh,
Um,
really?
and
Oh, don't they don't give it to you all at one lump
they
sum?
give it to you all at once, but like I guess you could space it out, but like you have to. My accountant was saying that it was like better safe than sorry to show that I was paying myself a regular amount as
Oh yeah,
opposed to
because
them just giving me like 10 grand or whatever it was, and then me just keeping it all in my bank account. So I just
yeah,
divided it up across 8 weeks,
yep.
and then I was like, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Because I'd have like some months where it's like I made $5,000 or $10,000, and then other months where it's like I made $1,200,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was just putting it all into
You
my
gotta have a,
checking account and not keeping.
you gotta have a budget.
Yeah, and like, which it feels insane because it's like I've been married for like
Yep.
7 years, and it's like not like I'm totally irresponsible, and like we have budgets for like our bills and stuff, but like I literally just wasn't budgeting like
Yeah.
what I was paying myself,
You
and
know,
like
it was a game changer for me. I started using QuickBooks Intuit, which would this like streamlined everything for me in terms of like invoicing. You can see what you made per month, per year. Check out all the kind of analytics behind how your business is running and stuff, and like sets reminders. This isn't a paid advertisement for QuickBooks, but if they want to sponsor it, I'll
thanks,
take it.
QuickBooks.
But dude, it was a game because before I had the worst system in place of like I just had like folders on my laptop of like invoices, outgoing invoices, shit that's due or whatever, and it's just like terrible way. And then at the end of the year when I did my taxes, QuickBooks was it's so easy. You just print out a
Yeah.
PDF and like bing bang boom.
Yeah, I'm using like QuickBooks for the first time this year, really, where I have everything
Yep.
synced up, and that's been super helpful. Even like because I pay quarterly taxes, and like
Yep.
the other day it didn't take me long at all to do everything in QuickBooks and just send my accountant like a single sheet. And like in past years, I've spent like hours upon hours like
Dude, it's
just trying to
stupid.
track everything. I got a laugh out of this. Like I found some papers like underneath the drawer in my studio a couple days ago,
Yep.
and it was paper contracts for a wedding that I had like 4 or 5 years ago that I had like mailed. I don't know if I mailed a couple
Yep.
or like I think I had them print it off and then mail it to me. And I was like, that's insane that like I used to do that. Like never in my life now would I think about like asking a client to like print something off and
Yeah.
mail it to me.
Well, I
with
think
a-
that's like pretty common like in the wedding business.
I guess, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I've actually been looking at signing up for DocuSign.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically because I want to get it because I should have been doing this for years. Is this being like anybody you shoot, just have them sign a release. And with DocuSign, you can basically just like have an iPad or even your fucking phone, and they just sign, and it's like legally binding and all that shit. So it's just like boom, boom, boom. So then in the future, like if someone wants to license your shit, like you already have everything out of the way instead of like
Yeah.
instead of tracking people down or like trying to organize old pieces of paper, like you said.
Yeah, no, totally. And I've used that more so for personal stuff, but like I use 17 Hats for my invoicing, which honestly I kind of want to switch to something just because like their interface feels kind of like outdated a bit, but it still like pretty easily enables you to invoice people and even like send agreements that people can sign, and literally they just type in their names,
Yeah.
like their name and the date, and it generates a
Yeah,
signature.
I think you can even do invoicing through DocuSign and collect you can do like credit card payments, which I was doing through QuickBooks, but I think I might just switch to DocuSign because it's a one-stop shop.
Interesting. I didn't know they did that. I literally thought it was just a signature because I see the plugin on Google, like in Google Docs,
Yeah.
when occasionally I have to sign something, but I didn't realize they did anything beyond
Yeah,
that.
they do
That's
a
right.
lot. It's all kind of because we used to use it at this real estate office I used to work at because we'd use it all the time for like lease signings and shit. And it was like, I mean, it's an investment, but it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what else is going on with you, man? I saw on your website now you have a you can sign up for your newsletter now.
Yeah. So I've been doing that.
That's a new thing, right? It's like a pop-up now.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a while, and it should pop up. Like it usually will only pop up like.
Oh fuck, man. Ruth Bader Ginsburg just passed away.
Oh no, that's a bummer.
Fuck.
I saw her documentary last year, or like the documentary that they did on her. That's sad.
Yeah,
Did they say what happened? I mean, she's pretty old, so it's like it could be anything. But
complications to pancreatic cancer. That means Trump's
Damn.
gonna get another judge in there.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, anyways, back to your. My brother just sent me that. I was like, damn, that sucks.
Damn. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Oh yeah, we're talking about your newsletter thing.
Yeah. So.
Pop-up thing.
Yeah, it should set up to like pop up anytime there's a new person. But like, I've just been trying to personally, because I'm pretty active on social media, but I've been trying to just personally send out every couple weeks or maybe once a month, just like personal things about my life and my work.
Yep.
And so like this past week, like I finally sent out like this portrait session that I shot with Noah Gunderson, who's like a Seattle based musician. He was touring through Florida right before COVID started, and like he came to my studio and we did a portrait session. And so I just like did like a write up on like my time with him and included the photos, and then like linked to people to be able to see like a larger one or like a larger selection of the photos than what was in the newsletter. But yeah, it's usually just me just sharing work and then just giving like a personal update about things that like I'm doing with my life or like learning or things that I'm interested in. Sometimes I'll do email blast where like I'm like, we'll like sell some prints or something, but like I try not to totally bog people down with that a ton.
And are you basically just sending that to only people that signed up for your newsletter? Or are you sending that to like clients you've worked with, or like who's it mostly going to?
It's going to both. So yeah, a lot of it is people that have come to like, so something that I talked a little bit about with Alex like last time for like anyone that's watching this or listening to it later on is I do these Polaroid pop-ups.
Oh yeah.
Or I did before COVID. And I would also, before I did Polaroids, basically like, I guess to give a little background on that, I set up a studio in random places and people can come and sit for a portrait. And then I use like old peel part film and I shoot it on like a 1960s land camera, and then people get an image. So I've been doing that for about a year now. And basically I'll post the digitals to Facebook after, and people can go and download them. So like I'll give people like an option to like give me their email and I'll add them to my email list and then send them the photos. And then on top of that, there's this big art festival that like I've participated in the last couple of years called Immerse, and about 100,000 or so people attend it. It's in downtown Orlando, and I've done this installation called Print, where people can sit for a portrait and leave with a professional printed image. And basically we
And what do they pay? They pay like to do?
no, so it's funded by the festival. They give the artists a stipend.
Okay.
So it's free. And so basically I print 2 copies of each one for them to take, and then the other for them to sign and date. And then it's hung on a gallery wall. And so like last year we did like 500 portraits, and like
Damn.
most of the people that like came through, submitted their emails. So it's people that have like come to events that I've done, or like Polaroid pop-ups. Some are past clients. I probably have like maybe like close to 1,000 people, I think, on my email list.
And then how are you sending? Are you using like one of those services like well, there's a million. There's like Constant Contact. There's what are the other big ones for sending out newsletters and stuff?
MailChimp's the one that I use.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a cool thing to mention, which has been really rad. So when all of the COVID stuff started, Creative Mornings. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So Creative Mornings is like a worldwide organization that they did until the pandemic. Like
Yep.
they would do these monthly gatherings, and you usually come and there's like a breakfast sponsor, usually like a coffee shop or like a restaurant will sponsor, and then there'll be a different creative from the community that speaks and shares their story, and just kind of like shares like their work and like where they've been. And so they have like literally thousands of gatherings around the world. So I'm on their email list.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like a worldwide organization that
Yeah.
has local chapters, almost kind of like
Yeah, no, exactly like that.
Yeah.
So like I'm on their email list, and they sent out a thing where they are partnering with MailChimp, and I've already used MailChimp, but they're just like, hey, like if you're an artist, and like you have a paid account, like we want to waive your fee for like 3 months or something. Just fill out this questionnaire, tell us what you do and like why you think we should waive the fee. And I just was like, hey, like I'm a freelance photographer, like I use this service regularly. All my work has died like literally like this month and next. Like would love to like get some help. And then yeah, they approved it, and I thought I could have read it wrong, or there's a glitch in their matrix somewhere. But like I just got a notification today again, like of them sending me a receipt with a zero balance.
Oh, really?
Which like
So it's been over 3 months you've been having it for
yeah,
sure?
and maybe they extended it or like something. I don't know. I'm not complaining, but the moral of the story is like honestly that was really amazing to me because like is $20 a month, which isn't a huge amount, but it's still like $20.
Yeah, it's $240 a year.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, I just thought that was so cool to see like a larger company like that just be like, hey, like we're gonna actually like help artists, like just tell us why you need help.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've been using Mailchimp, and I know Squarespace actually I get ads
Then
for it.
I've been using HubSpot. I don't have a
Okay.
newsletter, but I've just been using it like as a database for like clients, and you can keep tabs like when like all their contact info, and then like you can make notes within it, like, hey, this is the last time I talked to this person. That's what they said, and you can do a lot more with it. But I just started using that. But do you get like a lot of feedback from like, do people respond to the newsletters much, or is it you can kind of just see that people looked at it, or what's kind of been the
It's really hit or miss.
yeah
Sometimes like I think I have like a 20 to 30% open rate. Um,
yeah that's
and
about
then
that's not bad.
yeah, which I don't think is actually bad. I think the average is like 10 to 20% or something like
Yeah,
that. It's
dude.
actually it's pretty low.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then sometimes people will respond. Like it really depends. But like I can see every single person that reads it. And what's especially funny to me is that like I and I hope no one ever like that reads my emails hears this, but like I can see that some people like I can see every time they open it, which is like
A bunch of
insane. So some people will just open it once, but then there'll be other people who literally they'll open it like 15 times.
oh, really?
And like I I'm so intrigued at like I just want to know like the process of that like
Yeah, because once I get my email, like after like a day and a half, it's like it's on to the next page already because there's like 20
yeah.
emails. I can't imagine going back and looking at the other one.
No, totally. But like I see that pretty regularly where there'll be like 5 or 10 people who opened it like a dozen times.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, that's
other
good, man.
yeah, so like I don't know if they're like going like getting distracted or like just in the middle of something when it pops up. I don't know. Um
Yeah,
but it's been fun. It's been like a good like rhythm to have, and I'll try like I have a latest page on my website, and I'll try like to export the photos from Lightroom for that, and like for the newsletter, and then simultaneously like put them on the latest page.
yeah,
um so I'm like almost like updating two things at once.
yeah. I got to get on that. I think maybe I'll start doing one quarterly because I actually know a couple of my photographer friends who do it quarterly, and I almost start to look forward to it because they don't do it that
Mhm.
often. So, like I said, it's quarterly, so it's not like they're hitting you every month or whatever. And so it's like you kind of look forward to it because you kind of see what they've been working on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't really know the balance. Like I feel like some people avoid it, and like they don't want to bother people or they feel like it's obtrusive.
Dude,
Um,
yeah, I don't think you're bothering people. After talking to so many people doing this, I used to feel that way too. But then, like, if you think about the way like any other company you relate with, like if you buy something at fucking Target or Best Buy, those fuckers email you like every day, and it's like,
yeah, no, seriously.
and
One,
I'm not like that annoyed. I just kind of click off it and whatever, and just move on with my day. But I'm not gonna do it that much. But I think lately I've been approaching it, just reaching out more, just to like at
yeah,
least for editorial editors and stuff because they're moving so fast so quickly. It's like I because I think I used to just wait too long, so now I'm trying to like just get after it a little bit more.
yeah. I don't necessarily feel obtrusive or like it's bothering someone when they're like in a professional
Yeah.
setting. I just a lot of the people that like are on my email list are like people that have come to pop-ups or like
Yep.
events, or like even a lot of the clients that I have like are like one-off people who needed a portrait session.
Yep.
um and so or like owners of like a law firm who needed like their 12, or like an insurance company who needed like their 12 staff members photographed.
Yep.
And so I don't know, I feel like there's a part of me, it's like, oh, they're like more normal people who aren't getting hit up about photo things all the time. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of the mindset that like it's almost better to be top of mind as much as
100%, man. You gotta fucking attack it. You gotta get
and
out
that
there.
and that's part of even, and I don't know, like it's kind of hard, but that's part of even been my mindset with Instagram. Like, and sometimes it's annoying and I'm like, why do I spend so much time on here? But I'm also like, hundreds of people are seeing it every day. I don't know. Like it,
Yeah, I mean, there's just like a balance to it. Depends on like what you're putting out there, because there's definitely people that I followed and I just had to like either stop following or fucking mute it, because it's just like
yeah,
there's like no value in whatever they're putting in there. It's just like
yeah,
there's like a balance, But there's plenty of people that have like fucking 20 stories a day, but they're like funny or something, or it's like interesting, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll follow that. Like I follow
yeah.
this dude, this comedian Bert Kreischer, who's actually from Florida originally.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. I've seen that guy on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Dude,
He's
he's mad
insane.
funny, but he's like he's nonstop on social media, but it's just like funny shit. It's like
Yeah,
he's just busting his like friends' balls and shit, and I'm like, I'll fucking watch that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That actually, I was waiting for you. There's a rapper in Los Angeles named Propaganda,
Yep.
and he is doing these like once a week porigami sessions where
What's Porygon? What's that?
origami. So like I think he made up the name himself, but he's made this like contraption that's made out of metal that's 3 different pieces, and you piece it together and it makes a pour over. And so he's live streaming with other random celebrities and people, where
Yep.
he's basically walking them through the whole process of making a pour over coffee. And like it sounds super silly, but like it was really entertaining. Like I was getting a laugh out of it. Like he was like showing this scientist, like he's this rapper, like
Yeah.
he was showing this scientist like how to do a pour over, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like
Yeah,
that just brought joy to my day.
he got creative with it. It wasn't just like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a way to go about it, I think.
yeah.
It's
I was
like,
definitely even thinking about like watching that, like because I did try like a podcast for a minute, and like, and I know like everyone kind of does that at one point or another, and I just did a handful of episodes, and then like, and that was right as like Corona was starting, and I was just like, I can't do this. And part of it I think was just that I like wasn't interested in the work of like having to edit things. Like I'm
it's a
happy.
lot of research. That's like people maybe they don't realize. Like when I interview people, I spend a fuck ton of time on research, like days, like hours and hours, just like researching their work, looking at stuff they've shot. Like sometimes I'll reach out to people they know and talk to them, and be like, hey, like what should I ask this person, shit like that. And it's just like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I haven't like, I mean, it's like I used to do like an interview series like a couple years ago for like a publication that was like it was like a Q&A, and I would also do like a portrait session with the person. I did that for like 2 years, and I definitely would like have to spend a good amount of time researching for those, because like even at one point like I was interviewing like the mayor and like commissioner and like I don't know, some like
Yeah.
chefs and like people that had been interviewed, and like you don't want to ask the same
Shit.
thing
Yeah,
over.
because you want them to be interested too. But then
Yeah,
I mean, but then there's plenty of people that don't do research. So there's like, I mean, there's not a right or wrong way, but yeah, that's the way I approach it. Especially when I was like interviewing someone like Dan Winters or something. That guy's been interviewed a million times. So I was like trying to come up with like questions that he hadn't been asked before. So it's just like kind of tough. So I guess that's kind of when the research comes in.
yeah. I was thinking, well, the like live stream thing got me kind of thinking about that, where I was just like, oh man, like this could just be more of like a fun thing. That's like, you don't, I mean, maybe you research a little bit, but it's like where you're literally just having a conversation.
Oh yeah, there's no research here because I don't know who's gonna call in.
Yeah.
So it's almost for
And
me. I like doing it because it's exciting. Like, dude, last week Frank Hockenfels called in, which was fucking crazy.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
I was psyched. I did like a double take when it came in, and then but it's fun. It's different. There's no research, and it's almost like for me, it's almost like a test on like interviewing because there's no preparation. So I just have to kind of make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm kind of like, and maybe I'll try it this next week. I don't know, even seeing you do it. That's something that like I'm tempted. That seems the most appealing thing to me personally, as opposed to committing to a podcast. Like just setting time to hop on with other people for like an hour or so each week and like just have a
Whatever.
conversation, and then whoever tunes in, and then you share it to like your IGTV after.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I've had plenty, and there's a couple of days where like, no one even called in, but I'm just like
yeah,
doing other shit, and it's like, oh, whatever, because I'm just working on other stuff anyway. So if someone calls in, I'll talk to them, and if they don't, whatever.
yeah,
But so far, it's been pretty good. At least you get like 1 or 2 usually every week. But now I kind of switch it. I'm gonna start doing it every Friday, so then people kind of know, like, oh, it's on Fridays.
cool,
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world out there.
dude. It
Trying to
is.
navigate all this technology shit, but I just try to have fun with it.
It is honestly insane. Like, do you remember the like hardcore band Under Oath?
Nah, I never was too much into hardcore.
Okay. So
Anyway,
they were like pretty big in the mid 2000s. And actually, I mean, they're still a huge band, honestly, for the type of music that they're doing. And I photographed them a couple times, and like I like will hit up their manager like here and there, and they recently started doing this. It's almost like it's a live stream, but they're like in a bubble basically, and it was called like Under Oath Observatory, and they did it in Tampa, and it was a completely closed set. But they literally like put cameras all around the room. They did a camera up top. They had some guys like actually like hold cameras like in their hands, like the little like body cam things. I don't know what that is
yeah.
called, but like when it goes over your shoulders and you can walk with it and kind of steer
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's like a steady cam.
Yeah, like a steady cam. Thank you. And they like literally like would like run up to like the guitarists and like the singers, and like no one is like, lots of people have done live streams, but like no one has done like an interactive thing where it's like literally like switching to each member's faces and like they're playing in real time.
Yeah.
Like it's a completely live thing. And like they ended up like they had before COVID plans to do like this like summer long festival with Slipknot, and
Okay.
they were going to be like one of the main headliners. And they did 3 live streams where each one they streamed a completely different album. And I listened to a podcast of their guitarist today, and he said that they made 300 times the amount uh, across his 3 live streams that they were supposed to have made on the whole entire Slipknot tour
Wait,
across 2 months.
how did they make money off it?
Because they sold the tickets to do it, or they sold. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
That's
so if you
yeah,
wanted to watch the live stream and you kind of view the concert from their perspective, pretty much.
yeah. You bought like a $15 ticket,
Yeah.
and
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
um, and so
All
like
right,
it
yeah,
was.
you can Venmo me after this for 15 bucks.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
fucking with
totally.
you.
You need more angles, Alex. Lights.
I just
Want a
upgraded. I
better
got a light
show.
this week.
Yeah, I saw that you upgraded your setup. I saw you post that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. You're saying just about like just technology and like how uncharted it is. Like, it's honestly been amazing to see all the things that that people are doing, even like with that live stream, like doing like an interactive, like in your face thing where you're seeing like the perspectives of like the people that are playing, and even like doing the FaceTime shoots and things like that. Like I know one guy, and maybe you talked with him on the podcast. Actually, it might have been Art
Oh,
Strike.
Jacob Pritchard, and then Frank last week when I talked to him, he's been doing a ton of them. He shot 2 covers for the Hollywood Reporter, and he did an ad campaign for ABC or like some entertainment shoot for like a show, all virtual.
Yeah, one of my friends posted a thing on Instagram the other day that he got hired to do portraits for like I'm totally spacing on the name now, but it's like it's a nationwide like vegetarian chain like Veggie Grill or something like
Okay.
that. And he was like, "Oh, stoked to do this new campaign. All of this was done via FaceTime." And I was like,
What the
"You
fuck?
shot a campaign?" I was like, "You got paid for that?"
Yeah, some people are doing it. Like, there's ways to do it. Like, one of the guys interviewed, a dude who called in, like a month or so ago, a cool photographer from New York, and he did some FaceTime, and then he was doing a little more work. He shipped. So it was a model. He shipped like a DSLR to the model with like a tripod and shit, and then he linked it up with this software that like allows you to share your screen on a laptop. and so he had her download that software and Capture One. So then so all she had to do is put it on a tripod, turn it on, and then he could adjust all the aperture, shutter speeds through Capture One, and then they were sharing the screen through this other software. I forget what it was called, but I have it written down. So he was doing it that way. So then he got like high res pictures. It was very slow process because he still had to walk her through everything. But
Yeah. That's insane. I've thought about that a little bit of just like, oh, like how could you shoot remotely? But yeah, the share screen thing makes total sense. I mean, it would take a little bit of work for sure, or a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot slower process. It's just like he told me, he's like, yeah, we worked all day. It was like 8-hour shoot. So I'm sure he spent like an hour or two just kind of setting the shit up, getting in the flow. But then he showed me the photos. It was like, it just looked like normal, like editorial spread. It was like high quality shit. It was pretty nuts.
That's insane. That blows my mind. Yeah, I thought it was someone on your podcast that like said that they did a shoot using a drone, like a portrait shoot.
Yeah, Art Streiber did.
Okay.
He shot I don't know the actress's name, but it's the mother from Home Alone.
Okay,
No,
I don't know either, but
I don't know, but yeah, and he shot her in her backyard, which was kind of interesting because I don't really understand the point because they still went to her house. It was just like, I don't know. So they had a drone for some of the shots, so they were like socially distanced or whatever, and he had like a drone operator. It was cool.
Weird.
Yeah.
How is shooting for you been like as a portrait photographer with all the COVID stuff the last few weeks?
I mean, it kind of sucks just in terms of like personal work because there's like all these like right now they're like, my buddy is he's an arborist, so he's like he cuts down trees and shit up in Maine, and I wanted to go do a whole like portrait project of him and the dudes he works with, this like climbing these big trees, and they got all their gear on, they'd be some cool portraits and shit. But I can't really go there because if you want to travel to Maine from Massachusetts, it's like a 14-day quarantine shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of states like that. Like even Rhode Island, it might have switched, but it was like that for a while. Rhode Island, I live like 10 minutes from the Rhode Island border, but I think it's still going on. Unless you're there for work, it's like a 14-day quarantine and all this shit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's like,
that's insane.
Yeah, so it's like and I don't know, it's just tough. Like there's always personal projects I want to do, but I'm just kind of I'm not like rushing out there. I don't know, it's just fucking crazy, man. Like there's just so much shit going on still. Some like it sucks, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm not shooting as much personal work as I usually would. And then the jobs I've done have been chill. Like last week I shot this campaign for a bank, and it was just like a small crew, like 5 people, and it was fine. Everyone was wearing masks, keeping their distance. They had like a whole COVID coordinator who makes sure temperature checks and all that shit.
Crazy.
And but yeah, it's been fine. Like every company's different. Like some companies were like real on top of it, like got like COVID coordinator, really have like a safety meeting before each shoot. And then other companies I've worked with, they're like, they're not really on top of it as much.
Yeah.
So you can see the differences. But yeah, the main thing is it's not being able to, I haven't really been shooting as much like personal portrait shit just because with everything going on, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of had the same experience. I mean, I've done some personal stuff, but like overall people have been really mindful. Where has not been, and I hesitate to even mention this, but it kind of is what it is. Like I sometimes will second shoot weddings with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really shoot any weddings at all on my own at this point. Maybe like 1 or 2 a year.
You gotta listen. I don't know if you listened to this week's news episode.
I did. That honestly was my probably oddly enough was like my favorite podcast.
Dude, I was hyped on that. That guy's a fucking gangster.
Yeah, like that guy. I've heard about him forever. Like just because people are always like, oh yeah, he charges $20,000-$30,000 a wedding. Like,
probably more,
or maybe more. Yeah. Yeah. I looked at his photos after. And saw like photos of him and like his partner on their ranch, and I was like, that dude is swimming in money.
Oh, yeah, dude. I thought he was older than he was. He just turned 40.
Yeah, he said he's 38.
Well, he just turned 40 like 2 days ago. But
okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, you're talking about shooting second weddings and stuff. Yeah, the wedding businesses. There's not.
Yeah. So like occasionally it's like I'll second shoot weddings with a friend of mine, and we've done 200-person weddings in the last couple months. Like,
Yeah,
where
'cause you
literally,
I forgot you guys are in
like,
Florida, man. It's another
yeah,
fucking world
where
down there.
literally, like, no one was wearing a fucking mask. And, like, only the vendors and, like, the photographers were masked up.
Yeah, I'm not fucking with that. I don't. I just
And
feel like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm too cautious by this. Like, I'm just taking my time with that.
yeah, I mean, I think if it honestly, like, if money hadn't, like, been
Yeah.
tight,
Yeah, it's
like,
tough. It's a tough spot.
yeah,
You gotta work.
there's no way in hell, because it's still, even now, it's like I'm not really going out to eat. Like, it's like I'm not
Yeah.
going to parties or having parties or
Yeah.
like anything. I mean, I flew the other day for the first time this year, but like I literally like didn't take my mask off the whole time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, you're doing as best you can. Yeah, because at the end of the day, yeah, we all got bills and gotta do what we can. Because even me, like, a couple of jobs I did, and it was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm doing the same thing as you. Just limiting the exposure I can until everything kind of settles down some
yeah,
more, hopefully. But I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Yep. Because
it's oh, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, what else have you been shooting? I guess this kind of.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I'll show you like a couple of the things that I've been doing. Honestly, lots of portraits. Like I I like did a how do you do the chat on here?
Oh, you go to share screen. You
There
go.
we go.
You click share screen at the bottom, then you click the one you want.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I like because you get pretty creative with like this stuff you do. Like, I don't even think about doing like this. How you like selling prints and doing those pop up things, and because there's a lot of ways to make money. I guess it's just trying different stuff. It seems like
Yeah,
you've had some success with some of these things.
yeah, it's crazy. Like even with doing that, sometimes I feel like insane. Like because I do so many things, and it's actually interesting. Like I maybe have posted about this a little bit, and it's not like I'm not even like far enough to like
Mhm.
go out on a limb on the internet yet, but it's like I got diagnosed with like ADHD this year, and like I always thought that that was like a just like, oh, you can't focus, or like you're really hyper. Like I literally can't sit still. Like I'm always moving my hands and my arms,
Yep.
and that is part of it. But like reading about it, like it is like an actual like disorder, and like there's like parts of your brain like that literally like develop as a child that aren't supposed to develop until you're an adult, and vice versa.
Yep.
And like it's like an actual disorder that like affects like your mood, and it affects you blurting out things, and like it affects you like being able to like finish things. And then there's a lot of good too, but I mentioned that to say like I think partially because of that, like I've done so many damn things, and like I just get random ideas,
Yeah.
and like there's a lot of ideas that I don't do, but like there's also so many things that I do. Like I like got these, you probably saw me posting about this, but like
Oh yeah.
I made these like t-shirts for my Polaroid pop-ups.
Did you end up selling? Do you sell any?
Yeah, I sold like 30 of them.
Are you fucking this through your Instagram?
Yeah.
See, that's awesome, dude. I've tried to sell prints once through my Instagram. I didn't sell one, dude.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. Like I was posting every day for a couple weeks, and like I even went on like because like I have a lot of people that like engage with me pretty regularly on Instagram, and like I literally like I even messaged people that was following me and was just like, hey, I just launched this T-shirt, and it was done as like a campaign. So there's a local company here called Real Thread, and shout out to Real Thread. And they do these campaigns where it's like a Kickstarter, and you can set a goal of how many T-shirts you want to sell, and then when it gets funded, they'll print them and they'll ship them. And so there's only a minimum of 10 T-shirts, and I think I sold like 24, maybe 25 on the campaign.
Damn.
And so like I literally didn't have to pay anything to do it, because it like fun.
Wait, so they just give away? It's almost like an advertising thing for them for their business, kind of.
So like they basically you're paying, like the customer's paying for it, and then they don't get charged until like Kickstarter until the campaign has been funded.
Got it.
So like the minimum amount is 10 T-shirts, and then when they hit that minimum, then they'll go to print with them and they ship them all out.
And then, all right. So then the company that is actually has the T-shirts and printing them, they take their cut and then they send you whatever.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
they send you the remainder.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like rad. So like I had this T-shirt idea to like kind of like celebrate a year doing those pop-ups, and almost like originally I had the idea. I was like, oh, I'm almost at 3,000 like followers on Instagram. Like it'd be kind of cool to like do a tee or something.
Yeah, man. Just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it was cool because like I think like 25 or so, 24, 25 people like backed the campaign, and then I had a whole handful of people that like messaged me after and like, oh, I missed it. So like I ordered some extra ones, but it's like I literally didn't have to pay out of pocket anything.
That's sick.
Like I had a designer do the design. There was a friend of mine, but like aside from that, like it literally didn't cost me anything but time. But yeah, so like you were just mentioning all the different like things, and so I mean, it's like I feel like it's a blessing in a lot of ways because I'm able to like be creative when I don't have work or like with keeping up with things. But I also feel like I also just do so many things, and sometimes I'm like, what the heck do I like?
Well, it's just like throwing shit out against the wall and see what works, man. I'm like, yeah, I'll try this, try that, and whatever.
But like, here, I'm gonna show this.
Maybe I should print some Photo Banter T-shirts, man.
Dude, it'd be sick. You should honestly, do a campaign through RealThread.
All right, I'll do it, man.
Like, I'll send you the link because it doesn't cost anything, but like.
Yeah, they take their cut for the expenses.
But your time.
Yeah.
And the more you, it says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Oh shit! Oh, I must have to switch it. Security. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out next time. Or is it on your website?
No, it's not. But I can drop a couple of the photos in. But yeah, I mean, I've mainly just been doing like portrait sessions and just like I don't know, just trying to figure out like how to like stay creative.
Actually, it should work now.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I think I enabled it so multiple participants can share it simultaneously. Okay. There you go.
Cool. So
what's this we're looking at?
Hold on a second. So yeah, like I don't know, just did these with like a friend of mine this past week, and they're just like simple studio portraits. They're just for his birthday, and like for the first time, I like started messing with split toning.
I'm just seeing, only thing I'm seeing right now is it's just a white screen. It says create with popular apps. It says start something new with Dropbox, Google Docs, and more.
Here you go. There we go. Did the wrong one. You see it now?
Now I'm seeing your email and you're clicking on a photo. Yeah, there you go. Okay, got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like this is just like a simple portrait session that like I did with a friend of mine at my studio the other day, and like I started messing with like the not the HSL sliders, but the split toning, where you can change the colors of like the shadows and the highlights.
Yep.
And that was really like the first time I had ever messed with that. And like I don't know, something that like I've been like super interested in is just like photos of like the male body, because I feel like so many guys just photograph attractive women, and like I don't know, like it's interesting to me to see like males in this form because I don't feel like you see it a lot.
That almost would be interesting. It would almost be like a cool project to like find like famous photos of like women from like fashion and try to recreate the photo with like the same poses with like a man or something. We kind of like a cool, interesting like spin on it, you know?
Yeah, no, that I think that would be really rad as well. I've definitely like been trying to do more stuff like this. I did this shoot this past week, and then there's another guy who had actually come to my pop-ups
Wait, like how often are you even doing the pop-ups now with COVID?
No, I'm not doing them at all. I did one like maybe a month or two ago outside, and it wasn't like a handful of people came, but it just like it wasn't super busy.
Pre-COVID, how often were you doing them?
A couple times a month.
Okay, so pretty frequently then.
Yeah, and sometimes it like I think I was starting to overdo it a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, then COVID hit and just couldn't do anything. So, but yeah, I mean, I probably like, I probably did about, I started in July of 2019 doing the Polaroid pop-ups, and
Yeah.
I probably sold about 300 like peel apart images over the course of a year.
Yeah.
So it's like I photographed quite a few people, but some were busier than others. Some would be like like 5 or 10 people. Sometimes it'd be like 20 or 30 people.
Was it,
Um,
did you find it was a lot of the same reoccurring people that were coming to them, or was it always just different people?
some definitely would, for sure. But like it would also, because I would set up in random places like bars or like restaurants or
Hmm.
events, like sometimes it would just be people that were literally walking by,
Yeah.
um, or were literally like coming to like hang out with friends or get a drink. Um, but like there definitely were quite a few people that like came to multiple ones, which is pretty rad. Even with like selling like the t-shirts, that like the Polaroid t-shirts I made, like it was themed around like the idea of like discontinued Polaroid film. Like I called it the discontinued Polaroid tee,
Yeah.
and it like lined up with like how like my pictures use a discontinued film, and like a lot of the people that ordered those were like people that had come to pop-ups over the past like year or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's definitely a mix, but a lot of random people for sure that I don't even think we're even expecting to get their picture taken.
Yeah, dude, there's definitely like a way. Dude, I fucking about a month, not even a month ago, like 3 weeks ago, I photographed this stand-up comedian, Nikki Glazer, who's like pretty big stand-up comedian. Like she has a
Yeah,
bunch of Netflix specials and does like the comedy roast and stuff. And I just hit her up because she was coming to do a drive-in show. For like they're doing like comedians are using drive-in theaters to perform. So I just DM'd her on Instagram and she has like a huge following, like almost 1 million people. I was surprised she even got back to me, but I was like, yeah, I saw you coming to town. Like, I'd like to kind of shoot the whole event, this kind of show, like performing at a drive-in or whatever. And she's like, yeah, sure. Like, come on down. Like, she got full access, whatever. And then shot it. And I was gonna like, I sent it to some photo editors to try to pitch it. No one really ended up wanting to use it or whatever, but she ended up paying me money, bro, because she was like psyched on the photo. She just like Venmo me money like the next day, and I was like, hell yeah, dude.
that's so insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this kind of goes to show you, man. If you knock on a lot of doors, like sometimes shit this happens.
yeah, and that was, dude, that's something that I've realized so many times. Like there, even like I mean, I mentioned like that portrait session with that musician, like Noah Gunderson. Like he's pretty well known. I mean, like if you look him up on Spotify, he has like 600,000 like average listeners a month, and
Damn, that's a lot.
like yeah, like has done like sold out. I mean, most of his shows sell out, and like he's got like a pretty big
He's
following.
he's a fucking he's a pro.
But like I literally just like sent him an email because I had his email from some mutual friends,
Yep.
and like same thing that you did. And even like I photographed like that band Under Oath. Like they've been like one of my favorite bands since I was a kid. Like they were playing a festival near my house, and like I just sent their email, or sent their manager an email, and asked him if I could come shoot, and he gave me like full access to it. And like I stood on the stage and like
Mm.
literally like climbed around during the performance,
Yeah.
and like it's just like there's just so much that happens just from like putting yourself out there.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of time people don't respond or they say no, and it's like whatever. Let's move on to the next thing.
totally.
Yeah.
But then it's like occasionally, like I don't know, like what you said, even with like that comedian, like that's insane. Like she probably gets hit up so much.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, she was pumped on the photos. Like she was like, so I didn't ask her for any money, and I just got a Venmo. I was like, oh, Nikki Glazer, just Venmo you like a couple $100, and I was like, all
that's
right,
hilarious.
yeah, because I was just shooting it for myself. So I was like, all right, I made a
Yeah,
couple $100 on a Saturday night. I wasn't expecting to.
yeah, that's amazing. Do you think she's gonna use them for anything, or has she
Yeah,
yet?
yeah. She posted them up on her Instagram and shit.
That's dope. I'll have to look at that when I get off the phone with you.
Yeah, it was like a quick shoot. I posted one. It was my second to last post on Instagram. It was just a
Okay.
portrait of her and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I saw you post that.
yeah, it's just her. It's a portrait of her backstage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was happy with it. It was cool.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's kind of the only personal, I guess, kind of thing I'd done in the last 6 months, and it was fine
yeah,
because it was just her and like her two opening stand-up comedians backstage with like couple of security guards, so it wasn't like no crowd or nothing, so it was all safe.
yeah. That's rad. Yeah, we haven't like I don't think we've really done any like big drive-in things here in Orlando. I mean, concerts definitely haven't been happening.
No.
Excuse me.
I'm surprised.
But
I feel like Florida must have like maybe not Orlando, but I mean you guys have good weather all year. I would imagine drive-in theaters are like a thing because even like in my area in New England, there's like a couple. There's one on the Cape. There's one like in this town Mendon, which is like 15 minutes away from me. So they have them up
yeah,
here. I was surprised they don't have them down there.
yeah, we've done like drive-in movies,
Yep.
and like they've like created those in a few places. Like like they've literally popped up drive-in movie theaters. But yeah, I haven't heard of any like performances or anything happening.
Yeah. Yeah, not
But
much. Yeah, I know some stand-up comedians are 200 and stuff. Maybe probably Florida's probably tough because I mean like I don't know how the COVID numbers are now, but for like what a month ago it was like pretty. All you heard on the news was this like chaos.
yeah, I get an email every day from like a local publication that they basically like recap where the numbers are at, and I think that like I want to say there was still like a couple thousand a day for the state of Florida, but we did last week. Our county only had 200
Okay.
for the day, which was like honestly a miracle.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna look real quick, but yeah, so it's like it's up and down. But yeah, so the one today it says for Thursday, actually that was yesterday. I guess for the whole state, 3,255 new positive coronavirus cases. But that's literally, I mean, Florida's huge. Um,
Yeah.
I know for a while it was up to like the tens of thousands. So it's definitely getting way, way better.
That's good.
Um, I'm a little freaked out though, because like we opened up bars this Monday at 50% capacity.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I don't know, I was in Seattle, like I went on like a vacation, and which is a weird time to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Um,
It's all right.
but like I was there for like a week, and like all the bars are open there. Just everyone wears a mask.
Yep.
I only went to a handful of places, but like it was kind of like business as usual in a lot of ways. I mean, there are some things that are very, very much were different. Like literally everyone wears masks, even outside there. But like, yeah, the bars, they're only letting in a certain amount of people, but like
Yep.
still would go in and order a drink like you normally would. And we
Yeah,
definitely have not been doing that here.
yeah, it's tough, man. My friend owns a restaurant, and my other friends own a bar in Boston, and it's like, like every other day I hear like restaurants that have been around for like decades in Boston just like out of business, out of business. I'm like, fuck. I was like,
Yeah.
because like yeah, like a lot of those restaurants they aren't set up for like takeout or like any of that shit. Especially now, the crazy thing is like the weather's starting to get colder, so all that outdoor eating that a lot of these restaurants have been able to like rely on during the spring and summer,
Shit.
that shit's gonna be about to be done in about another week or two.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even think of that here. I'm like, oh, it's becoming the perfect time of the year. And you're like getting
Fuck
out
you,
your like
dude.
your
I'm
like
like,
snow coat.
I gotta order a new sweatshirt. Dude.
Yeah, no. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, that dude, I don't even want to think about that for other states. It's insane because I feel like a lot of restaurants here have definitely really taken a hit. Like I feel the most bad for my friends that own bars because they're just like devastated. And like a lot of them are just doing like to go beverages like a package store, but like
You can't depend on that.
yeah, but it's still not the same as like having like hundreds of people doing $100 bar tabs in a night.
and people yeah, people tipping out all those
Yeah.
people. It's just a rolling effect.
But like I feel like at the same time though, there are a lot of restaurants that I feel like because of like all the to-goes, they might be doing better than
Oh
ever.
yeah, for sure.
Like,
there's definitely some that are like killing it, but then there's
like
yeah, it's hit or miss.
my wife's a pastry chef at a pie shop, and they do a lot of savory stuff. And they definitely last year were like, oh shit, like we don't know like if we're gonna be able to stay open because we're not like busy enough.
Yep.
And now like literally the last like 6 months, like they've been busier than ever. Like their business is doing
Oh yeah,
is
there's
doing the best it's ever been.
yeah,
Like
man. Yeah, there's some business that like golf courses are killing it right now.
yeah.
Like the golf course I go to, I talked to the dude who runs it, and I'm like, "How you guys doing?" He's like, "Dude, honestly, this sounds terrible, but we're doing better than we ever have." Because it's
Yeah.
like because people can't go to movies and they can't like not people can't really go to bars like they used to, or because a lot of people still aren't going, and like so they're trying golf in, they're trying whatever thing they can do like outdoors, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's wild, man. It truly is like an actual jungle.
yeah,
Like everything is so insane.
yeah. Yep. But trying to get after it every day, do what you can, you know?
Yeah, no, that's literally like I definitely feel like that's like the only option.
I mean, I think this probably sounds terrible, but the podcast, I think I've been like in the last 6 months during this pandemic, I think it's allowed me to get some like cool guests on that I normally
Mm.
probably wouldn't be able to because they're busy, like a guy like Platon. Like, I think I got him on and some other pretty big ones. And like Pete Souza, I got on. That was like, I thought that was a big deal for me. So I think people being stuck at home, it allowed me to get some cool guests in the last 6 months, you know?
Yeah, no, I would agree. I feel like right now is like such a good time for people that are in entertainment to get like opportunities that they haven't in a lot of ways. Like even like a friend of mine has been doing a podcast for like 4 years or so here in Orlando, and he does it like multiple times a week, but like he's been getting all these different musicians that are huge. Like he interviewed like the founder of Sub Pop,
Yeah.
that like discovered Nirvana and like Fleet Foxes, and
Wow, that must have been
like
pretty cool.
there's been so many people that like he probably never would have had on the podcast at all. Like had
Yeah,
like
because
had it.
they'd be on the road, they'd be traveling somewhere, and
Yeah,
they wouldn't have fucking time to do this shit.
yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, so that's kind of been pretty. It's kind of helped me stay sane, having something else to do.
How far out do you like book your guests? Are you able to plan it, or is it kind of random?
It's just kind of like I had a bunch. Like I have right now, I have four that are already pre-recorded, and so I got the next month already recorded and done. And then the last 2 weeks I was busy, so I didn't record any, and I just needed a break anyways because I kind of the week before I recorded like three, and that was just too many to do in one week
Mm.
because my brain was like fucking fried by the end just because all the
Yeah,
research and shit. But yeah, sometimes I just get excited, so I'll just throw a bunch of emails out there, and I got a couple cool ones coming together. I think I just sent out some emails, so some cool ones coming up. Think what I got come. You ever heard of Japan Camera Hunter?
no.
Check him out. He's on Instagram. He's this
Okay.
dude. He has a pretty big following. He lives in Japan, and he runs this company because it's called Japan Camera Hunter, and it's all
Huh.
film photography, and people like collectors or like film photography enthusiasts contact him, and he like sources like hard to find cameras and finds you this,
Crazy.
and then he does like his whole on his Instagram. He's very smart dude, and he does this thing where every week he has a different film camera, like weird ones I never even heard of, and he kind of just shows you the camera. He's very like he knows the history of the camera companies and how
Wild.
they were made, and it's just very in depth, you know.
Huh.
So he's coming on. I did an interview with him, which was pretty cool.
That's rad. Yeah, and that's definitely different than like is he like I'm assuming he shoots as well.
Yeah, he shoots and he just has an interesting story. Like he's English, and then he just somehow like moved to
Oh,
Japan.
crazy.
Moved to Japan 15 years ago. Never left. Like worked at a Japanese camera company for a while, just like in the
Huh.
shop, just like sweeping floors and shit. And then he just because the camera stores out in Japan, there's just like all these crazy old film cameras, like you find old like Nikons and stuff, and just cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I'll have to look him up. It's been like it's cool to see like all the different people, how like even almost like you've been branching out like this year, even outside of like people that are just professional photographers.
Yep.
Like
Photo editors and
yeah,
stuff.
photo editors, and even like having Jose Villa, like I
Yeah.
don't know, that podcast still blew my mind. Like
Well, dude, I think I like because man, I've shot weddings plenty, and I'll still shoot them. I don't care. And like, yeah, because I think a lot of people just give a bad rap to wedding photographers, and
yeah,
that dude's killing it harder than I would. I would argue, out of the 200 photographers I've interviewed, and I've interviewed some like very successful ones, there's a good chance he's making more money than every single one person.
Yeah.
And that's not even a stretch, I don't think. Like he's just killing it, and he's doing cool shit. Like he's traveling around the world to Thailand,
Yeah.
Italy, Bali, like Africa. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely an anomaly for sure. I like went and followed him like right right after I listened to the podcast and was like, this dude's doing something right.
And my friend one of my best friends, he listened to it and he texted me, and I didn't even think about it when I was doing the interview, when I listened to it, and he's like, man, it was really interesting. And he had a way of where he was talking about how much money he was making and like how he shot like an $18 million wedding, but he didn't sound like douchey about it.
Yeah,
It wasn't, it didn't come across as like, yeah, I'm doing this baller shit. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is, he's like, that's like a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I was on a shoot I had a couple days ago. I was photographing at a law firm, and they do a lot of like family law and like divorce law.
Mhm.
And the main lawyer, like I set up in their main room, and they're like having their staff come in throughout the day, and the main like partner at the firm will like leave his door open and he'll pace back and forth while he's on calls.
Yep.
And he does this all day long, but like I don't know who he was talking to or what it was in regards to, but he was like, yeah, so we sent the 1.8 million in a check via mail. And I was like, well, I didn't say anything, but I was like sitting there with my camera, and inside I was like, hold up.
Yeah, how
like,
much money, dude? Yeah.
like, I was like, how much did I just charge you guys? Like,
Yeah, it just, yeah, because you forget that there are people out there they're killing it like that, you know.
yeah, and
Sometimes it seems fake, and then you're like, oh no, there's some people out there doing it like that.
yeah, no, for sure. And it definitely, I don't think like money is everything, but
No,
it
no,
definitely
no.
is inspiring and like shows you like what you can do and like what you're, I don't know, what you're capable of.
Yeah. Or is this more talking to Jose? It was just kind of hearing his story, and it was just very like there wasn't so much of like a strategy. Like I thought it was just like, yeah, man, like supply and demand. And that's how I raised my prices from like $400 up to whatever it is, 10,000. And it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's got my name out there. And he kind of got, I think he got his niche from shooting film. And now kind of a lot of people have kind of tried to emulate that, I guess, from him kind of. So that was this kind of interesting thing, kind of talking to him.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was like encouraging to hear, even just him talking about how he raises his prices every year.
Yeah.
And like I feel like at some point there's got to be a stopping limit, but maybe not. But it was encouraging because it's like, I mean, I don't like, it's like I don't charge like a huge amount at this point, but it's like I've gradually raised it for like my portrait sessions, but it's still like not like
Yeah.
a ton in the grand scheme of things. But I was like, oh, I guess like I can feel okay with like just asking for more. And again, not like I'm like gonna go ask for like,
Yeah, more can be like it can be $100, it can be $50,
yeah,
and it's like I mean, that guy's been doing it for like 25 years, so
yeah,
he's coming at it from a different standpoint than like I don't know. I mean, at 10, however long you've been at it, it's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, you said this a bunch, like just how many different ways you can like do things in photography. Like,
I think you just come at it from like a sincere way, and you can tell like people, whatever you're shooting, you actually enjoy it. It comes through, and people respond to that. It's not like a gimmick or some shit, you know?
yeah,
Because there's plenty of people that just hop on whatever. Remember, like, well, this is almost like 10 years ago, like when HDR was fucking, everyone was doing like HDR, these like crazy HDR images, and that was just kind of a little trend there, and that kind of stopped. And
yeah,
I don't know, but then there's people that are just kind of pure. That's the type of shit I like. Like Larry Fink, man, that guy's one of the best, man. Like, and he's just been doing the same thing for this same approach, and it's never gets old to me.
yeah. No, it's definitely been like something that is like encouraging because sometimes I just like I I will like get a little bit down because I'm like, oh, like my portraits are just like simple. It's just like a single person, single light in a studio, but
Dude,
it's like
that's the best. Dude, Avedon had one light like his entire fucking career.
yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like that's what I'm getting at. It's just like kind of like what you were saying, just like finding that like niche or whatever. just from doing the same thing
Yeah.
kind of over and over. And
Yeah.
I've even found at this point, like even in the last couple of weeks, like even though I'm doing the same thing in a sense, I found other ways to like get creative with the people. And that's honestly been the most mind-blowing thing in itself to
Yep.
me is like I was running earlier and just like thinking I'd never had the stop before until really today or just the other day. I feel like for me, the opportunities are almost endless with studio portraits. Like, even though it's such a simple thing, like just a person on a backdrop with a light, I really do feel like the opportunity is endless. Like creativity is like almost endless with it. And it's just, I don't know, just kind of being willing to like almost explore and just move the person in the light.
Yeah, there's endless stories out there. There's this
Yeah.
and there's always this news stories, stuff that's happening in the world, and you don't even need to go very far. Like I think a lot of people like I gotta travel. I'm like, no, you don't have to. I mean, it's
No,
cool.
definitely
It's
not.
cool when you
Yeah.
can, dude. Fucking Florida, man. There's endless. Florida's a
Yeah.
colorful place, man. You can do like retire. There's this one YouTube channel I stumbled upon. I don't know if it's Orlando or not Orlando. It might be like somewhere in Florida. It's a retirement community. I think it's the largest one in the country. It's called what the fuck? It's called like the Villas or something.
The villages.
The Villages,
They're like
dude.
the STD capital of Florida.
Dude, it's so
Um,
dude. That's a photo project in itself. They all got like
yeah.
crazy golf carts and shit, and it's just like like weird environment.
It's super weird. I don't know much about it, but like I know that like literally a couple years ago, like they had a huge problem with like all these old people just like fucking each other like
Yeah,
endlessly, like having unprotected sex and just like getting STDs
dude,
and
there's a
like
photo project right there.
yeah, like doing things like key parties where like
Oh
all
yeah,
these
yeah.
like just fucking insane stuff like 80-year-olds.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
like just all insanity. I don't know that like I like exploring, but I don't know if I want to explore that much.
No,
Like
no. I was just making the point. There's just so much
yeah,
shit out there. Yeah.
no, it definitely is. It definitely is endless. I mean, I've even seen that like especially with like the amount of things that like I do in a photograph, like yeah, like even with doing like Polaroids, like popping up at bars. Like I've photographed so many different types of people. Like
Oh yeah.
I've photographed like little kids all the way up to like 70-year-old couples,
Mm-hmm.
like people that were like jacked and like bodybuilders, like people that like had lots of plastic surgery and like
Yeah, if you
dyed their
just
hair. Like
if you just set up, man, it's like an experience, and people once you get the first one, people just want to they see it going on, they want to like shoot. I've done it a bunch of times, right?
yeah.
I set up at like Barstool Sports does this thing called Rough and Rowdy. It's basically this like backyard boxing, pretty much.
Crazy.
Anybody can show up and fight each other. And I've gone to a couple and the setup is seamless and they shoot all the characters, like this the people that the fighters and the people that they're the fans or whatever that come, and it's just like
That's amazing.
yeah, I got all types of weird shit at those
Yeah.
things. Yeah. But
Crazy.
anyways, man. Well, I'm glad you called in, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for chilling for a little bit.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take a bathroom break and hopefully some more people call in.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate it. I'll post this up on YouTube, and
Sweet.
for people listening, if they want to go check out your work, what is this? IamDavidLawrence.com.
Yeah, it's just
right?
I am David Lawrence on Instagram.
Yep.
Sorry, my phone was ringing.
No worries.
But yeah, I was gonna just take another screen capture.
It did. Hey, I got the good lighting now, dude.
Hold on a second. My
Yep.
my phone call interrupted it.
No
All right.
worries.
1, 2, 3. Sweet. Cool, man.
Later, bro.
Great to see you, dude. Have a good night.
Yeah, peace.
All right. Bye.